Good afternoon. Welcome on in to another episode of From Day One. Today, it's time to try to stump the traffic court judge.
8-4, State of Kansas versus Kevin Wayne Hood. The state appears by and through Deputy Butler County Attorney Jared Regier.
It's not even that neighbor.
Defendant Kevin Hood appears in person and per se. We were here first on December 14th, 2022, at which time Mr. Hood pled not guilty and requested a bench trial on the one count of failing to yield at a stop or yield sign. So at this time, Mr. Hood, are you still wishing to have your trial?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
And you're ready to proceed at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Regier, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. This time, are there any opening statements?
The state waives opening argument.
Mr. Hood, do you have any opening statements?
I'm not sure. State my case or just opening statement?
Just a statement as to what the evidence will show.
No, ma'am.
All right. Both parties waiving opening statements. Mr. Regier, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Deputy Dathan Tyler Enns to the stand. Where are you employed?
The Butler County Sheriff's Office.
And just so you know, we do have the dead part of air cut out, so that way you don't have to wait for the guy to get to the stand and those kind of things.
What is your professional title?
Sheriff's Deputy.
And how long have you worked as an officer?
About 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay.
I'll keep the volume.
Were you on active duty in your professional capacity on September 2nd of 2022 at approximately 5:14 p.m.?
Deputy Enns, are you still with us?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Alright, I'm having trouble getting it up. Let me see if I can get it back up, guys. Just a moment. Alrighty, I think we got the audio back. Let's see if we can get back to the court case.
At that date,
Yes, I was.
okay. At that date and time, where were you at?
I was parked on Southwest Butler Road, just south of 120th Street.
Is that in Butler County?
Yes, it is, just south of the city of Andover.
Now you already said that you were parked at the time, so were you moving or stopped in your vehicle at the time?
I was stopped in my vehicle, sir.
Okay. And what direction were you facing?
I was facing southbound.
This is interviewing of the officer.
Could you please paint a picture of your immediate surroundings? Any buildings, trees, things of that nature?
There's tree rows on both the east and west side of that intersection on the south side of 120th.
Okay.
There's a housing development on the north side of 120th, a median that runs down Butler Road. It's a 2-lane road that at that point where I was sitting is where it merges from 2 lanes
it's not
to
a 1 lane,
lane
but a
to
2 lane.
continue southbound out of town.
Okay. Now you mentioned that housing development. Is it the sort of housing development where families might potentially live?
Yes, it is, sir.
Are there any other landmarks or unusual physical features about this area that you failed to mention earlier?
Not that I can think of, sir.
Now you mentioned that all this occurred at an intersection. Is this intersection at a paved road? It's not is it a dirt road like you might see in a country or a township?
Yes, sir. It's on the east side of Butler Road. 120th is dirt. Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Yeah,
We're having a
growling
problem
noise.
with your connection because your
Yeah, Your Honor, that's a good way of calling
frozen
it.
for the most part. Mr. Hood, are you okay with the connection?
The judge came up perfectly right at the time that those two were still
Yes, ma'am.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
I'm fine.
All right. Please proceed, Mr. Revere.
Yes, please proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you mentioned at the intersection it is a dirt road on one side. Is it paved elsewhere at the intersection?
Yes, sir. All other sides are dirt, or all other sides are paved. Butler Road and 120th.
Are there any stop signs near this intersection?
There's a stop sign on the east and the west side of Butler Road on 120th.
Okay, so 2 stop signs. Are both these standard stop signs that you might encounter just on day to day?
Yes, they are,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. So nothing unusual about these stop signs whatsoever.
Other than they're actually stop
sir.
signs? No.
Now the ticket on this case would appear to refer to a Dodge of some sort. Was there a stop sign on the road near this particular vehicle?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The Dodge pickup came from the west side of that intersection. There's a stop sign on the west side of that intersection that you have to stop prior to turning on to Butler Road.
Okay. Is there anything near this stop sign that might potentially hide it from view?
Not if you're traveling eastbound.
Okay. And were you able to see this stop sign from where you were at the time of the incident?
I can't see the sign, I don't believe. I think it's a little behind the trees. In order to make a proper stop at that stop sign, you have to proceed out to see both directions. The neighborhood on the north side of there has a fence around it, and there's a tree row that runs up to the south side.
Okay.
Is this
The stop sign is set a little bit behind.
is this an area that you are familiar with?
Yes, I am, sir.
Okay. So this is an area that you've patrolled in the past.
Hi.
Presumably.
Yes, sir. I frequently patrol that area.
So it's safe to say then that you're familiar with the layout, where stop signs are, and what is required at different intersections.
Yes, sir, I am.
Are there any other road signs beyond stop signs near this particular intersection?
I believe there's street sign for Southwest 120th and Butler Road. Probably a few signs indicating that they need to merge around the medians that are concrete medians in the middle of Butler Road and at that intersection. Possibly a stop ahead sign. I'm not sure.
What was the weather like on the date and time in question?
It was clear. Best I can remember.
Okay. Was it dark outside at the time?
No, sir. It was daylight.
And did any of these aspects of location impair your field of vision in any way?
No, sir.
No, they didn't. Sir.
Are you familiar with KSA 8-1528?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What does that statute require drivers to do at stop signs?
It requires, if there is a stop line on the ground, they're required to stop behind that. Otherwise, they're required to proceed forward to where they can clearly see in both directions prior to proceeding into the intersection.
Okay. And does the statute require them to
Proceed
stop?
past the stop sign and come to a stop.
Okay. So, in any event,
Yeah.
the statute does require a vehicle to stop at a stop sign before entering an intersection.
I think that would be
Yes,
a
sir, it
common
does.
given.
At this time, I would respectfully request the court take judicial notice of KSA 8-1528. Your Honor, forgive me, I believe you may be muted.
I was for a moment, yes. So notice is so taken, Mr. Revere.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Are you familiar with the manual put out by the Kansas Department of Revenue to help people pass the written exam for a Kansas driver's license, otherwise known as the Kansas Driving Handbook?
Yes, I am, sir.
Yeah, I am right.
At this time, I would further request the court take judicial notice of the same, as well as leave of the court to read from page 18 from the section entitled Stopping.
Page 18, stopping.
Yes, Your Honor.
What edition are you looking at, counsel? What year? If you have that handy.
I do, Your Honor. I have the edition that includes a notation on the front page stating, quote, revised June of 2022.
All right, thank you. That will be noted as well. Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Quoting from the section on page 18 entitled Stopping, quote, a complete stop is required at a stop sign. You must stop at a clearly marked stop line, but if none, before entering the crosswalk on the near side of the intersection, or if none, then at a point intersecting the intersecting roadway. And that is also, it also includes a bolded notation referring to KSA 8-1528.
Actually, Mr. Regier, they basically are the same quotation, aren't they?
More or less, Your Honor. But I believe this particular edition puts it in a more concise manner, meant for an everyday civilian. Deputy, do you consider yourself capable of visually identifying when traffic violations have taken place?
Yes, I do, sir.
This is the correct answer is yes.
Do you have any past experiences or special training which allows you to identify traffic
Correct answer
violations?
there is also yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And could you please briefly describe all that in detail?
Really?
From when you start your field training the field training program goes over all the traffic laws and how to conduct.
All right, we're going to skip a little bit ahead because we want to hear more of the idiot defendant.
I have, at the beginning of this year, approximately 2,500 traffic stops in my career and have worked probably 15 to 20 different step programs that are put on by the state. It's a special traffic enforcement program that is, I go on duty with the sole purpose of conducting traffic stops and making people aware of the traffic laws and different things like that.
On September 2nd of 2022 at 5:14 p.m., did you observe any acts that you consider traffic violations?
Yes, I did, sir. I observed a white Dodge pickup from the west side of that intersection proceeding without coming to a complete stop after coming into a clear visual from where I was sitting. In order to come to a complete stop where you can clearly see both ways, you'd have to proceed past the tree line where I was sitting for the sole purpose of watching that stop sign. And they did not do so. They rolled through and continued on southbound towards Rose Hill.
And where the Dodge approached the intersection, it was right. The road is right next to a stop sign.
Yes, sir. The road at 120th, approaching Butler Road, you're required to stop on 120th while you're still facing eastbound prior to turning either north or southbound onto Butler Road.
Were there any passengers in the Dodge?
Yes, there was. There was a female passenger.
Were you ever able to identify the identity of Dodge's driver?
This one.
Alright, we lost the audio again. Let me see if I can get it back. With that, the audio unfortunately can't be returned now, but I will spend the time to make sure we have it back for tomorrow so we can pick up the case from there. Until then, thanks for watching from day one. We'll see you tonight.